In today's video, we explore the profound impact of personal expression in public spaces. We'll delve into a compelling story where a woman's choice of attire leads to unexpected consequences at a local clinic, sparking a community-wide conversation on inclusivity and respect. Join us as we uncover the lessons learned and the transformative power of open dialogue. Sarah Thompson, a 34-year-old mother of two, sat anxiously in the waiting room of the Maplewood Family Clinic. Her 6-year-old daughter, Emma, had been battling a persistent fever for the past 2 days. Despite administering over-the-counter medications and ensuring ample rest, Emma's condition showed no signs of improvement. Concerned for her daughter's health, Sarah decided it was imperative to seek professional medical attention. The clinic's waiting area was a blend of sterile, white walls adorned with generic artwork, aiming to provide a calming atmosphere for patients. However, Sarah couldn't shake off a growing sense of unease. She noticed subtle glances directed her way, particularly at the red "Make America Great Again" MAGA hat she wore, a gift from her husband. Mark the hat, emblematic of her political beliefs and support for her husband's active involvement in the local Republican Party, seemed to attract silent judgment from others in the room. Adjusting the brim of her hat, Sarah tried to focus on Emma, who was nestled beside her, cheeks flushed from the fever. The receptionist, a young woman with a name tag that read Jessica, finally called out, "Ms. Thompson, the doctor will see you now." Her tone was professional, yet her eyes briefly flickered to the hat before meeting Sarah's gaze. Gathering Emma in her arms, Sarah followed Jessica through the corridor lined with examination rooms. The faint scent of antiseptic filled the air, a reminder of the clinical environment. They were led to room 3, where Jessica gestured for Sarah to place Emma on the examination table. "The doctor will be with you shortly," she said, her voice maintaining its professional cadence, though her eyes once again darted to the red hat before she exited the room. Minutes felt like hours as Sarah waited, gently stroking Emma's hair in an attempt to comfort both her daughter and herself. The door opened, and Dr. Emily Harris entered, a woman in her mid-40s with kind eyes behind wire-framed glasses. "Good afternoon, Ms. Thompson. I'm Dr. Harris." She introduced herself, extending a hand. Sarah shook her hand, offering a polite smile. "Thank you for seeing us on such short notice. Emma's been running a high fever, and I'm really worried." Dr. Harris nodded, her expression empathetic. "Let's take a look at Emma and see what's going on." She conducted a thorough examination, checking Emma's vital signs, listening to her breathing, and gently feeling for any swollen lymph nodes. Throughout the examination, Sarah couldn't help but notice Dr. Harris stealing occasional glances at the MAGA hat resting on Sarah's lap. After completing the checkup, Dr. Harris said, "It appears Emma has a viral infection, which is causing the fever. I'll prescribe some medication to help manage her symptoms and keep her comfortable as she recovers." Relief washed over Sarah. "Thank you, doctor. I was so worried it might be something more serious." Dr. Harris offered a reassuring smile. "I understand your concern. As a mother myself, I know how stressful it can be when our children are unwell." She began writing the prescription, but then paused, her gaze settling on the hat. "Ms. Thompson, I couldn't help but notice your hat. Our clinic strives to maintain a neutral environment for all patients, and we have a policy that discourages the display of political attire to ensure everyone feels comfortable." Sarah felt a flush of embarrassment and defensiveness. "I wasn't aware of such a policy. No one mentioned it when I checked in." Dr. Harris's expression remained gentle. "I apologize if this wasn't communicated earlier. We aim to provide a welcoming space for everyone, and sometimes that means setting aside personal expressions that others might find contentious." Feeling singled out and somewhat chastised, Sarah nodded. "I understand. It won't happen again." After receiving the prescription and additional care instructions, Sarah and Emma left the examination room. As they walked back through the waiting area, Sarah felt the weight of multiple eyes on her, each glance amplifying her discomfort. She quickened her pace, eager to leave the clinic's confines. Once outside, the crisp air was a welcome contrast to the stifling atmosphere she felt inside. She secured Emma in her car seat, her mind racing with a mix of relief over Emma's diagnosis and frustration over her own experience. The hat, which once symbolized her personal beliefs and support for her husband, now felt like a scarlet letter that had invited judgment and discrimination. That evening, after ensuring Emma was comfortably resting, Sarah recounted the day's events to her husband, Mark, as she described the subtle glances, the receptionist's demeanor, and Dr. Harris's comments. Mark's expression shifted from concern to indignation. "That's unacceptable," Mark said, his voice tinged with anger. "You are there seeking medical care for our daughter, not to be judged for your political beliefs." Sarah sighed, feeling a mix of exhaustion and frustration. "I just wanted to get Emma the help she needed. I didn't expect to be scrutinized for wearing a hat." Mark's eyes narrowed with determination. "This isn't just about the hat. It's about the principle. No one should be made to feel unwelcome or discriminated against because of their personal beliefs, especially in a place meant to provide care." Throughout the examination, Sarah couldn't help but notice Dr. Harris stealing occasional glances at the MAGA hat resting on Sarah's lap. After completing the checkup, Dr. Harris said, "It appears Emma has a viral infection, which is causing the fever. I'll prescribe some medication to help manage her symptoms and keep her comfortable as she recovers." Relief washed over Sarah. "Thank you, doctor. I was so worried it might be something more serious." Dr. Harris offered a reassuring smile. "I understand your concern. As a mother myself, I know how stressful it can be when our children are unwell." She began writing the prescription, but then paused, her gaze settling on the hat. "Ms. Thompson, I couldn't help but notice your hat. Our clinic strives to maintain a neutral environment for all patients, and we have a policy that discourages the display of political attire to ensure everyone feels comfortable." Sarah felt a flush of embarrassment and defensiveness. "I wasn't aware of such a policy. No one mentioned it when I checked in." Dr. Harris's expression remained gentle. "I apologize if this wasn't communicated earlier. We aim to provide a welcoming space for everyone, and sometimes that means setting aside personal expressions that others might find contentious." Feeling singled out and somewhat chastised, Sarah nodded. "I understand. It won't happen again." After receiving the prescription and additional care instructions, Sarah and Emma left the examination room. As they walked back through the waiting area, Sarah felt the weight of multiple eyes on her, each glance amplifying her discomfort. She quickened her pace, eager to leave the clinic's confines. Once outside, the crisp air was a welcome contrast to the stifling atmosphere she felt inside. She secured Emma in her car seat, her mind racing with a mix of relief over Emma's diagnosis and frustration over her own experience. The hat, which once symbolized her personal beliefs and support for her husband, now felt like a scarlet letter that had invited judgment and discrimination. That evening, after ensuring Emma was comfortably resting, Sarah recounted the day's events to her husband, Mark, as she described the subtle glances, the receptionist's demeanor, and Dr. Harris's comments. Mark's expression shifted from concern to indignation. "That's unacceptable," Mark said, his voice tinged with anger. "You are there seeking medical care for our daughter, not to be judged for your political beliefs." Sarah sighed, feeling a mix of exhaustion and frustration. "I just wanted to get Emma the help she needed. I didn't expect to be scrutinized for wearing a hat." Mark's eyes narrowed with determination. "This isn't just about the hat. It's about the principle. No one should be made to feel unwelcome or discriminated against because of their personal beliefs, especially in a place meant to provide care." He stood up, pacing the living room. "I'm going to address this with the clinic's administration." The following morning, Mark Thompson sat at the head of the dining table, his laptop open before him. Sunlight streamed through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow over the room. But his focus was entirely on drafting an email to the Maplewood Family Clinic's administration. His fingers hovered over the keyboard as he carefully chose his words, aiming to convey the gravity of the previous day's incident without letting his frustration overshadow the message. "Dear Maplewood Family Clinic Management," he began, detailing the experience his wife, Sarah, had endured, the unsolicited comments about her attire, the palpable discomfort, and the perceived discrimination. He emphasized the importance of a healthcare environment free from bias, where patients are treated with respect, regardless of personal beliefs or expressions. After reviewing the email for clarity and tone, he hit send, hoping for a prompt and thoughtful response. As the day progressed, Mark's thoughts frequently returned to the email. He was not only a concerned husband, but also a significant benefactor to the clinic. His company had been a substantial donor, funding various programs and contributing to the clinic's recent expansion. This connection added a layer of personal investment to the situation. He felt a responsibility to ensure that the institution upheld the values he believed in. By late afternoon, a reply arrived from the clinic's administration. The message was courteous but non-committal, acknowledging the concern and stating that the clinic had policies in place to maintain a neutral environment. They assured him that the matter would be reviewed, but stopped short of offering an apology or indicating any immediate action. Unsatisfied with the response, Mark decided to take a more direct approach. He scheduled a meeting with the clinic's board of directors, leveraging his status as a major donor to ensure his concerns would be addressed at the highest level. The meeting was set for the following week, providing him time to prepare his arguments and gather any necessary documentation. In the interim, Sarah focused on caring for Emma, who was gradually recovering. However, the incident at the clinic lingered in her mind, prompting discussions with friends and family about experiences with bias and the importance of standing up against subtle forms of discrimination. These conversations were enlightening, revealing that many had faced similar situations, though in different contexts. The day of the meeting arrived, and Mark entered the clinic's conference room with a sense of purpose. The board members greeted him warmly, aware of his contributions to the clinic's success. After the initial pleasantries, Mark recounted the incident in detail, expressing his disappointment and concern. He highlighted the contradiction between the clinic's mission to provide unbiased care and the behavior exhibited by its staff. The board listened attentively, and after a moment of deliberation, the chairperson spoke. "Mr. Thompson, we deeply regret that your family had this experience at our facility. It is neither reflective of our values nor acceptable by our standards. We will initiate a thorough review of our policies and staff training procedures to ensure that such an incident does not occur again." Mark appreciated the acknowledgement but pressed further. It's crucial that this review leads to tangible changes. Patients should feel safe and respected, regardless of their personal beliefs or expressions. I would like to be kept informed of the steps taken to address this issue. The chairperson agreed, promising to provide regular updates on the measures implemented. Feeling cautiously optimistic, Mark left the meeting, hopeful that his intervention would lead to meaningful change within the clinic. Over the next few weeks, the clinic undertook a comprehensive review of its policies and conducted sensitivity training for all staff members. They also revised their patient interaction protocols to emphasize respect and neutrality, ensuring that personal biases would not influence patient care. Regular communications kept Mark informed of their progress, and he noted the earnestness with which the clinic addressed the issue. Sarah, upon learning of the changes being implemented, felt a sense of validation. Her experience had sparked a necessary conversation, leading to improvements that would benefit all patients. While the incident had been distressing, it resulted in positive developments within the clinic's culture. As time passed, the Thompson family continued to utilize the services of the Maplewood Family Clinic, observing firsthand the improvements in the environment and interactions. The staff was more attentive, and the atmosphere felt genuinely welcoming. The experience reinforced their belief in the importance of advocating for oneself and others, and the power of constructive dialogue in effecting change. In the end, the incident served as a catalyst for growth, not only for the clinic, but also for the Thompsons, who emerged with a deeper understanding of the impact of bias and the importance of standing up against it. Their actions ensured that the clinic became a more inclusive space, aligning with its mission to provide compassionate and unbiased care to all members of the community. In the weeks following the Thompson family's experience at the Maplewood Family Clinic, the institution underwent significant changes. Staff members participated in comprehensive sensitivity training, and new policies were implemented to ensure a more inclusive environment for all patients. The clinic's administration communicated these developments to Mark Thompson, expressing their commitment to upholding the values of respect and neutrality in patient care. Sarah Thompson, while appreciative of the efforts made by the clinic, remained cautious. Her previous experience had left a lasting impression, and she was hesitant to return. However, when Emma developed a mild respiratory infection, Sarah found herself once again in need of medical assistance. After discussing it with Mark, they decided to give the clinic another chance. hopeful that the changes had fostered a more welcoming atmosphere. Upon arriving at the clinic, Sarah noticed subtle differences. The receptionist greeted her warmly, without any discernible judgment or hesitation. The waiting area, though familiar, felt more inviting, perhaps due to the staff's renewed commitment to patient comfort. Sarah checked in and took a seat, observing the interactions around her. There was a noticeable shift in the demeanor of the staff. They appeared more attentive and engaged with patients, regardless of background or appearance. When it was their turn, Sarah and Emma were escorted to an examination room by a nurse who introduced herself as Lisa. Lisa's friendly demeanor and genuine interest in Emma's well-being put Sarah at ease. After taking Emma's vital signs, Lisa mentioned that Dr. Harris would be in shortly. Sarah's initial apprehension resurfaced. She recalled Dr. Harris's previous comments about her MAGA hat. However, she reminded herself of the clinic's efforts to improve and decided to approach the situation with an open mind. Dr. Harris entered the room with a warm smile. "Hello, Ms. Thompson, Emma. It's nice to see you both again. How can I assist you today?" Sarah explained Emma's symptoms, and Dr. Harris conducted a thorough examination. Throughout the visit, Dr. Harris maintained a professional and compassionate demeanor, focusing solely on Emma's health concerns. There were no unsolicited comments or judgments, only genuine care and attention. After diagnosing Emma with a mild respiratory infection and providing the necessary prescriptions, Dr. Harris took a moment to address Sarah directly. "Ms. Thompson, I want to acknowledge our previous interaction. I realize that my comments may have caused discomfort, and for that, I sincerely apologize. Our goal is to provide a supportive environment for all patients, and I appreciate your willingness to return and give us another opportunity to serve you." Sarah was taken aback by the apology. It was a gesture she hadn't anticipated but deeply appreciated. "Thank you, Dr. Harris. I appreciate your acknowledgement and the changes the clinic has implemented. It means a lot to us." As Sarah and Emma left the clinic, she felt a sense of closure. The experience had come full circle, transforming from one of discomfort and judgment to one of understanding and respect. The clinic's efforts to address the issues and Dr. Harris's personal apology reinforced Sarah's belief in the importance of advocacy and open dialogue. At home, Sarah shared the positive experience with Mark. He was pleased to hear that the clinic had made tangible improvements and that their efforts had led to a more inclusive environment. "It seems our actions made a real difference," Mark remarked. Yes, Sarah agreed. It's reassuring to know that speaking up can lead to meaningful change. The Thompson family's journey with the Maplewood Family Clinic became a testament to the power of constructive feedback and the willingness of institutions to evolve. Their experience served as a reminder that while biases may exist, addressing them openly can lead to growth and improved understanding for all parties involved. In the aftermath of the Thompson family's experience at the Maplewood Family Clinic, the local community became increasingly aware of the incident. Discussions about the implications of wearing politically charged symbols, such as the Make America Great Again MAGA hat, began to surface in various public forums, including town hall meetings, social media platforms, and local news outlets. The community's response was multifaceted. Some residents empathized with Sarah Thompson, viewing her experience as a violation of personal freedoms and an example of discrimination based on political beliefs. They argued that individuals should have the right to express their political affiliations without fear of prejudice, especially in environments dedicated to public service like healthcare facilities. Conversely, others felt that overt political symbols could create discomfort or a sense of exclusion among community members with differing views. They contended that certain symbols, including the MAGA hat, had become associated with divisive ideologies and could inadvertently foster an unwelcoming atmosphere in shared spaces. Local media outlets covered the story, highlighting the broader debate about freedom of expression versus the need for neutrality in public services. Editorials and opinion pieces reflected the community's divided sentiments, with some writers advocating for the protection of individual expression and others calling for policies to maintain politically neutral environments to ensure inclusivity. In response to the growing discourse, the Maplewood Family Clinic organized a community forum to address concerns and engage in open dialogue. The event was held in the town's community center, attracting a diverse group of attendees, including patients, healthcare professionals, local activists, and concerned citizens. The clinic's administration began the forum by acknowledging the incident involving the Thompson family and outlining the steps taken to address the situation, such as staff training on sensitivity and the implementation of policies promoting inclusivity. They emphasized their commitment to providing unbiased care to all patients, regardless of personal beliefs or affiliations. During the open floor segment, Sarah Thompson shared her experience, expressing her initial feelings of discomfort and subsequent appreciation for the clinic's efforts to rectify the situation. "I believe in the importance of expressing one's beliefs," she stated. "But I also understand the need for mutual respect and understanding." In shared spaces, other community members voiced their perspectives, some echoing Sarah's sentiments, while others highlighted the potential impact of political symbols on marginalized groups. A local teacher remarked, "We must be mindful of how our expressions affect others, especially in environments meant to serve the entire community." The forum facilitated a constructive exchange of ideas, leading to a consensus on the importance of balancing individual expression with the collective need for inclusivity. The clinic proposed the establishment of a community advisory board to provide ongoing input on policies and practices, ensuring they reflect the community's values and promote a welcoming environment for all. As the weeks passed, the dialogue initiated by the Thompson family's experience prompted other local institutions to reevaluate their policies regarding political expression and inclusivity. Schools, libraries, and community centers began hosting workshops and discussions aimed at fostering mutual respect and understanding among residents with diverse perspectives. The incident also inspired individuals to reflect on their own biases and assumptions. Conversations that once seemed daunting became opportunities for growth and connection. Neighbors engaged in meaningful discussions, seeking to understand each other's viewpoints and experiences. For the Thompson family, the experience reinforced the significance of advocacy and the impact it can have on affecting change. Mark Thompson continued to support initiatives promoting inclusivity and open dialogue within the community, recognizing that progress often begins with a single voice willing to speak out. In the end, the community's response to the incident at the Maplewood Family Clinic exemplified the power of collective reflection and action. By confronting the challenges posed by differing beliefs and symbols, the residents of Maplewood strengthened their commitment to building a community where respect, understanding, and inclusivity prevail. In the months following the Thompson family's experience at the Maplewood Family Clinic, the community of Maplewood underwent a significant transformation. The incident had sparked widespread discussions about political expression, inclusivity, and the importance of maintaining neutral spaces in public services. These conversations permeated various facets of the community, from local government meetings to casual discussions in neighborhood cafes. The clinic's proactive response, including staff training and policy revisions, served as a catalyst for other institutions in the area. Schools, libraries, and community centers began to evaluate their own environments, striving to create spaces where all individuals felt welcome, regardless of their personal beliefs or affiliations. Workshops on cultural sensitivity and the impact of political symbols became commonplace, fostering a more inclusive atmosphere throughout the town. Sarah Thompson, reflecting on the journey, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. What began as a distressing encounter had evolved into a community-wide movement toward understanding and respect. She became an advocate for open dialogue, participating in panel discussions and community forums to share her experience and the lessons learned. Her story resonated with many, encouraging others to speak out against subtle forms of discrimination and to engage in conversations that bridge ideological divides. Mark Thompson continued his involvement as a benefactor, not only to the clinic but also to other local initiatives aimed at promoting inclusivity and mutual respect. He collaborated with community leaders to fund programs that educated citizens on the importance of maintaining neutral public spaces and the value of diverse perspectives. His commitment to these causes reinforced the notion that positive change often requires both advocacy and tangible support. The Maplewood Family Clinic, now regarded as a model for inclusivity, saw an increase in patient satisfaction and community trust. The staff's dedication to providing unbiased care and their willingness to learn from past mistakes fostered a sense of safety and respect. Among patients, the establishment of a community advisory board ensured that the clinic remained responsive to the evolving needs and concerns of the people it served. As the town of Maplewood embraced these changes, the broader societal implications became evident. The incident and its aftermath were featured in local news outlets, sparking similar discussions in neighboring communities. The narrative served as a reminder of the impact that individual actions and community responses can have in challenging biases and promoting inclusivity. For the Thompson family, the experience reinforced the importance of standing up for one's beliefs while remaining open to dialogue and understanding. They recognize that true inclusivity requires a collective effort and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Their journey became a testament to the power of resilience, advocacy, and the enduring human capacity for growth and change. In the end, the town of Maplewood emerged stronger and more united, having turned a moment of discord into an opportunity for collective reflection and improvement. The lessons learned continued to influence the community's approach to inclusivity, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs, felt valued and respected in the spaces they shared.